Hello, everyone. Welcome to Café New Canadians. Café New Canadians is a virtual event series where we discuss topics that matters to immigrants, international students, and newcomers to Canada, and all those who plan to come to Canada. Today, we are going to talk about a very important topic for international students, the strategies and tips for international students affected by COVID-19 pandemic. So to talk about this, we'll also share some main details for this show. And this show, the Café New Canadians, is brought to you by New Canadians. And New Canadians, you can follow us across all social media platforms, also our YouTube channel, as well as you can log into our website, newcanadians.tv, to see more about newcomers and their experiences and how they can come to Canada and explore a lot of things here in Canada. So I'm Sherdal Khan. I'm host for today's session, and we have with us three pertinent guests for this discussion. First of all, let me introduce them. David Mendoza, who is an educator and director of orbit5.ca. That's a portal that can help an international student to figure out the study material, the career, and the job prospects and everything. And with David Mendoza, we have Gursheen Kaur, who's also an international student, a very successful international student who came to Canada, pursued fashion course here in Canada, and also got a job in the pandemic. So it was a very silver lining, lucky thing for her as well. So we'll talk about her experiences as well. And we have with us Urvish Patel, who's also an international student at George Brown, and he is also right now studying the computer programming course in George Brown. So we'll ask about his experience in studying during COVID-19. And this topic, we'll talk about strategies, tips, how can an international student come to Canada, or the existing students, how can they maneuver their studies and everything. So we'll also ask you, the participants at Zoom, they can send us in our questions as well. We'll try to get the answers from our guests as well. And also for all those who are logging into our YouTube channel, they can send us their questions in the comment section. So we'll start the discussion. First of all, I would like David to talk about basically for all you, we welcome you to Café New Canadians. For David, I have a first question. David, in the normal circumstances, what were the main concerns, main problems students faced in normal circumstances in Canada?
First of all, thank you very much, Sherdal, for the invitation and for having me and the students in today's show. We're very excited to share our experience and our tips so international students have a better and more meaningful experience here while they are in Canada upgrading themselves. In my opinion, the main issues that the international student faced when they came to Canada was the transition, the life transition, because they were talking about worrying about which is the best coat that I need to get to survive the winter, how do I take the public transportation, etc. But they were not thinking about deeper concerns regarding, for example, prejudices that they brought from their home countries that could be a hinder into adapting and integrating into life in the society here. Another thing is the lack of connections, because they come with a wealth of education and experience, but they don't have a robust network here that can expedite their work prospects or their career prospects, and also sometimes the communication abilities. A lot of the students, they come to the country with excellent abilities to communicate and to thrive in the work environment, but a lot of them are still in the process of gaining the confidence to be able to articulate their thoughts better and to clearly illustrate the value that they could add to an organization when they are invited to a job interview, when they used to go to networking events, etc. I think those were the main challenges that the student faced. But now with the pandemic, it's not only those challenges, but
Yes.
extra challenges that they had.
Yes, we'll talk about. We'll definitely talk about those challenges. So I would like Gursheen to share her experience when she came to Canada. And luckily, today is her second anniversary in Canada. I just wanted to know, Gursheen, what was your experience when you landed in Canada as an international student? What sort of thoughts were in your mind, and when you landed here, what was your experience?
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me here. So initially, before I came here, everybody warned me that, you're going to a different country. It's going to be very fast paced. You'll have to work for yourself. You'll have to earn for yourself. But I always had this mindset. I'll be very honest here. I had this mindset of partying and having a lot of fun and just making a lot of friends and, dealing with the studies as well. But after coming here, I've seen myself mature so much, grow so much in this prospect where I've barely I don't even like going out anymore because I feel like that's not working towards my career. That's not working towards my education. It's just wasting my time as for now. So why? For me, these 2 years have taught me a lot. I realized that making connections is very important. I realized that focusing on my studies is very important. I realized that being in the good books of my teachers is very important. So it actually helped me grow a lot. And as for the struggles, oh my God, I think it took me almost a year to understand how the TTC works properly and go around about the city. It took me a long time to find that work, study, and life balance because I had never worked before while I was studying. So it took me a long time to find that balance. So I feel that it's a very different culture. It's a very different life once you move from your country to
Exactly.
Toronto because Toronto is a mix. Toronto is mix of so many cultures and so many people, and you'll find all kinds of languages and people here. So you have to be
Same is the
ready. You
case
have to
with
be ready to
same is the
adapt.
case with Canada. The whole
Yeah,
Canada
you have to
is
be prepared.
very diverse in
It's a mixing
immigrants.
pot. Yeah, so you have to be prepared. You have to
So I want
basically
to
be ready
ask,
to adapt.
yes, adaptability. We'll talk about that surely. So, how much time did it take you to realize that you have to study, you have to take care of self, your expenses, and everything? How much time it took for you?
For me, oh, day one, my father sat me down before sending me here. He sat me down. He said, "Listen, I am paying your tuition fee, and that's about it. Your tuition fee, your GIC, that's all I'm giving you. If you want to spend even a penny other than that, you have to earn for yourself. You have to live by yourself. You have to do everything by yourself." So I was very prepared when I came here. I knew that I had to find a job. I have to, and by a job, I don't mean that I had a specific job in mind. For me, it was like anything I can begin with because everything is a learning experience.
Exactly.
So just, yeah, so I started off in a call center. I found a job in retail, and it was step by step getting here. So
So, Wish, tell
that's
me,
how.
what was in your mind? Gursheen, you were thinking about partying in Canada, or you had a plan to study from the day one?
Not really. Like when I came here, like for first month, I did go out a lot. But on another side, I was mature enough to like search for a job and everything. And when I came here, it was December, and like in January, it was like snowing everywhere, and I don't had a job, limited amount of funds. Plus, I need to do all the expenses by myself. Plus, I'm paying my fees by myself. So uh, that pressure burden as well on my mind.
Exactly.
So I managed to do all this stuff, uh, like managed to do all this stuff. Like I also manage my personal and professional life very maturely.
Right. So, David, all these things that and international students, when they come to Canada, they have their studies back there in their countries, and they want to pursue their higher education and everything. So, uh, what do you think? What do you suggest before coming to Canada? If an international student wanted to come to Canada, what sort of preparation or mindset he or she should have before coming to Canada?
I think it's very important for the students to start making connections with the people in their school before they come to Canada, especially the program coordinator, because they might not know who the faculty are going to be, who are going to be the teachers delivering the content in their classes, but they will know who the program coordinator is. So I will start before they come to Canada, find out who the program coordinator is and start building a relationship with that person. And if you do that as a student before come to Canada, you will have an advantage, a competitive edge compared to the other students. Why? Because nobody does it, right? So if you tell the coordinator who you are, what's your story, and what are the goals that you have set for yourself in advance, and what support do you need from that person to make the most of your experience, you are going to be in their top of mind, and that person will be able to support you. And I've experienced that as part of faculty at George Brown College. And when I talk to program coordinators, etc., they tell me when a student is proactive, when they want to get involved in the program, when they have the initiative to reach out, and when they have like clear goals set for their progression, we are going to help them out because they're going to become success stories, and we need success stories in the institutions. So that would be one thing. Another thing that they could do is have an honest conversations with themselves regarding biases that they grew up with. We all have biases, we all have prejudices that we grew up with. But again, like Gursheen was saying, this is a mixing pot, right? So there's cultures from all corners of the planet in Toronto, in Vancouver, and everywhere in Canada. This is a very diverse country, so you need to have a very open mind to be able to interact with people from all walks of life, so that you create great opportunities and so that you can integrate well into society. So have that conversation with yourself, come with an open mind, and also come with a mindset that you, of course, you're going to be true to your roots and embrace your background, etc., and hang out and have good, strong relationship with people from your own culture, but challenge yourself to make friends with folks who are not from your same culture, and specifically who do not speak your native language.
Yes.
Especially, for example, we see Gursheen and Urvish, their English for them is second nature. But for example, I'm talking about maybe a student who comes from South America who speaks Spanish, right?
Yeah.
If they are still working in their communication abilities, and if they come here and they hang out only with students who speak Spanish, they won't be able to improve their communications skills.
So
that the marketplace needs, right?
So you suggest that you have to come to Canada, and before that you have to prepare yourself for the communication. Like you have to work on your language ability, language skills before coming to Canada.
Yeah, I mean, the school is gonna ask you for proof that you have a good command of the language. But still, with that, there's people who can write a TOEFL exam or the IELTS, but still they have a lot of trouble still communicating confidently and effectively, right? So come to a mindset that you are going to do your best to immerse in the culture. That's what I want to say, right? What is that? What does that entail? Make Canadian friends. If you're from Brazil, make friends from India, from Japan, from Vietnam, from China, from other cultures, so that you get different perspectives and different points of view, and you grow a strong sense of appreciation from the world's diversity as well. And in terms, and also, like, for example, if communication skills, then from back home, start to listen to music in English and start following the lyrics, and go to Google Translate and check out the words that you don't understand. Start watching movies only in English, not subtitles in your native language, and that challenge yourself, because that's how you can start building those communication skills.
Exactly.
And have an open mind, because again, this is a microcosmos of the planet in one same city, right? The more
Yes.
open mind you have, the bigger opportunities you will be able to create for yourself.
Yes, Gursheen, what sort of preparation did you do before coming to Canada? Like David mentioned, talk to your program coordinator and then prepare for the course and program. So what sort of preparation you did?
So I had already done my post-graduation back home in footwear designing. And I wanted to complete that sort of education with fashion. That is why I pursued fashion management here. Unfortunately, I was not very well prepared, but now that I had listened to David, I wish I had done that. I wish I had connected with my coordinator before coming here. That's a very sensible piece of advice that I hope everybody follows,
Yeah.
because that definitely does give you a competitive edge. For me, I definitely looked through all my courses. I looked up all my teachers on LinkedIn. I saw where they had worked earlier, and I saw what kind of, so I did talk to a few students. I found out this page on Facebook for George Brown students. I tried to connect with people on that. I tried to find people who were already in Toronto. A few friends I had who were already in Toronto or Mississauga or Brampton, and I tried to get back in touch with them and ask them how things are. How should I prepare for things there? So I won't say I was very well prepared, but I did have a little bit of an edge over people because I had a friend who helped me. I had a few friends who helped me transition, who helped me with all the bank details, all the TTC things, the card,
Yes.
and taking me out to basic things that you have to get your phone number here, you have to get your phone from here. So I had that little bit of an advantage. So
So
that
Urvish,
worked.
what about
That
you?
helped me.
So once I got my visa, I didn't had like much time. Like I came here like after like just 2 weeks. So, but in those 2 weeks, I study about the city. Then I study about like search for people from my program on Facebook. And once I was here, I attended the orientation, like all orientation. Like we had like 3 orientations, and I met with my program coordinator. I politely asked him, like, "Sir, can I talk to you for a few minutes?" And I explained him about my situation, my ambitions, and my education, my skills, and everything. And he even guided me for to do freelancing and to uh, start a business. Like if you're not going to get like if you and everything at that time. And then when in my first lecture, he already knew me, right? We had like a pretty good conversation for like 15 to 20 minutes. And in my first lecture, I still remember I was sitting on the third row, and he called me with the name, and he was like, "Yes, this is Urvish. You can answer this question. I know because we talked about like your skills at that day." And then he
Yeah,
supported me.
that's added advantage to talk about your to talk to your teachers beforehand. So that
Yes,
was
yes, and even after like first semester, he even offered me a job as a tutor in because he's also running a tutoring center for George Brown College. So
that's
he
amazing.
also offered me a job over there.
So
Work there.
it paved so many ways for you, like for your job and for your studies. So David, now let's talk about COVID-19, the pandemic. Because you interact with so many students through your website orbit5.ca. I would like to know what sort of situation those students, international students, faced when this lockdown was announced in March. So, what were their experience and what they were thinking at that time? Uh, what were their basic questions they asked you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you examples, for example, for students who arrived here in January for the winter semester. So imagine someone arriving from, say, like Vietnam, for example, in January. It's the first time that they leave their countries. Yeah, it's the first time that they leave their families. They come in January, so they start going through the initial challenges that are involved in moving to a new country. On top of that, they're dealing with the winter, with the Canadian winter, which is pretty tough, right? So that
Yes,
they're away from their family, they're dealing with the culture shock, they're dealing maybe with the new language, they are getting used to the school environment, they start looking for work, they start making friends. And we all know here in this panel that when you leave your country, your friends become your family, right? And then, so you're here in January, then 6 weeks later, they tell you, you cannot come back to school anymore and you cannot leave your place because of COVID-19, yeah? So then your transition process gets interrupted drastically, yeah? And you're not prepared for that. So one thing, you are worried because you're far from your family and you are worried about them. What if they get COVID and I'm here, yeah? And I'm not with them. On top of that, I cannot go to class anymore. Now I have to add something else, another burden on my shoulders, because now all the learning has to be online. I cannot go back to school. Third, I cannot leave my place and I cannot meet and see my friends who were becoming the family that I had started creating for myself. So all those things could impact your mental health. And then with that regard, mental health is a topic that is not talked about in most of the cultures from when the international students come from. It's a topic that we talk here in Canada a lot, but in other countries, it's still a huge taboo, right? So if that impacts mental health and they feel depressed, they feel down, they don't feel 100%, but they don't know what's going on because they never had those conversations before, right? So if you don't have if your mental health is not on point, it's very difficult for you to thrive and succeed in all the endeavors that you wanna pursue, right? So that could be one thing. Other students, for example, they had jobs lined up, they had internships lined up, but because of COVID, those opportunities got canceled. Yeah, not that the students were not skilled enough to get the jobs. They were, and they got them. But because of the situation, because of an external factor, they got canceled. So that impacts their confidence. And though some of them took them personal, right? And they let that affect their confidence when it comes to go through another job search, etc. Right? So that's another thing. So the work that we have been doing throughout the pandemic is that having conversations with these students and through weekly webinars that we are conducting with different guest speakers who are talking about different matters that help them with their personal and professional development, they have been able to build that confidence that is needed to face a job search process within the lockdown, to be able to optimize their networking approaches, because now everything is done online, right? So now is the time for them to optimize their LinkedIn profile, to master the platform, to start having conversations with people that they identify that could expedite their work, their career or work prospects. So that's the work that we have been doing in order to help them navigate the challenges that this pandemic and the impact that it made on their lives.
So you think the institution didn't play a part in helping those students to cope up their mental issues during this pandemic and during this remote?
They did because what the institutions had to do also, like very quickly, they had to adjust their services to an online delivery, right? So there are, accessibility departments within institutions. There are professional counselors who can help who can help students navigate whatever mental health challenges that they might be experiencing that didn't even know that they could be experiencing, right? But sometimes it could take time, right? So I think the institutions are providing the support, but sometimes the students are not aware that those services exist. And that's another thing that international students must do as soon as they arrive in Canada or even before. Be aware of what are the services and resources that are available within the institution that can help you optimize your learning experience.
So could you please share those resources?
Absolutely. For example, the Career Center. The Career Center. So talk to the career advisors there and talk about a job search strategy, how to optimize your resume, how to write a cover letter, how to be prepared for an interview, how to optimize your networking approaches. The Tutoring and Learning Center, for example, for students who have to write essays and go to college English, yeah? Every student has to do college English regardless of their nationality, or regardless if they are Canadian or foreigners, right? But a lot of them, they don't know how to write academically. So the Tutoring and Learning Center can provide them with those support so that they can write better papers, if you will. So that the Student Association, and Urvish can tell you more about the work that they do because he's part of the Student Association at George Brown.
Right.
The peer coaches, which are students who are supporting other students to find a balance between work and life, etc. Now, for example, counseling, accessibility services, yeah? So you need to be aware.
So there are so many platforms, so many resources there to help these students. So Urvish, what was your experience? And still, you are studying computer programming in George Brown. When this COVID-19 pandemic was announced and everything was locked down, they had to go to remote learning. What was your experience? And still you are studying. Share us your experience.
So firstly, when like this lockdown announced, I still remember that I was in class, and our class was like on our halfway, and this lockdown announced, and we all like literally freaked out, like wow, oh my god, what's gonna happen now? And we all just go to our home, and firstly it was for like 3 days, and in for school, no, it was for a week, and from the next week we got an email like our class is gonna online. So even like for me, like I had like a good laptop and internet connections, but like some of my classmates, they even didn't have good proper infrastructure at their place. Plus, like I'm also part of student association. So for like Gursheen's program, they need sewing machine, I think so. Not fashion management, but for fashion designing, they had sewing lab. So those people, those students doesn't know like how they are going to finish their project and everything. And
Yes.
but like day by day, college support, college provide really good support. They give all the infrastructure and all the devices, and now it's okay. For hospitality, those people are complaining like we feel like we are just watching cooking lessons online, and then making a dish at our place and sending a video to a professor. So it was kind
Yes.
of funny, but like we need to like do something, right? To
So you did get the resources from your institution during this pandemic.
no, like because for beginning, it was so difficult, but after a few days, they did manage it really well. They provide all the resources really well.
Sorry
But
to
for,
interrupt, but honestly,
Yeah.
the computer I'm using right now is actually a college computer.
yes,
So they were nice enough to
Oh, there you
let
go.
us, yeah. So we had these appointments set up with the library, and one student was allotted half an hour. We could go into the college, we could get a laptop that we wanted, and like they were giving out iPads, dongles, laptops, any resources that we needed were all available online on the library sources. So the transition took a little time, but it was very smooth, and they provided us with all the resources. So I do applaud this effort on George Brown's part. They made sure we had everything to go through with our course, complete our
Aren't
course.
they asking it back now? Everything is normalized.
They will, which is why I'm going to get my own within a week or so.
So,
But they have been
Gursheen,
amazing.
I would like to know, and congratulations that you got your job during COVID-19. You finished up your course and now you are working. So it was a blessing in disguise for you during this pandemic. So what was your experience? How did you get this opportunity? You were searching those opportunities, or just suddenly this popped up?
So my journey to this job was actually a roller coaster. Initially, I had applied with a company. Like that company hires from our college every year. I won't name the company. So they came to our college. I applied. I got through in the first round, second round, third round. The last round was left, which was a case study, and I knew I was a shoe in. I knew this is done. This is the company I'm going to start working with. I even got my tickets booked for visiting back home according to that job. That job starts on 25th May. So I'll come back on the 22nd May. I'll settle in those 3 days and I'll start working on the 25th. When all of this happened, so they had done 2 interviews by the time pandemic started and we all got stuck at our houses. They took one interview virtually, and for the last interview, they emailed me on the day of the case study that we're not going forward with this. We will consider you when we open this position again next year, but for now, it's done. And the other job that I'm actually now working at, so that is finished for now. I don't know when they're going to open the job again. I don't know what's going to happen with that. The job that I'm working right now, I met these people at a job fair. I had never heard of the company. They told me about the company. They told me what it does. And I loved the sound of it. I loved the message that they, so I'm working with a lingerie brand called Nixwear. And I love that the message that they are portraying from, and the kind of body positivity they are giving out, those vibes, I love that. So I had a conversation with their HR in February itself. And then even they said that we're not hiring anymore. We won't be having any interviews, and everything got shut for me. And as David said, I took it very personally. And I just felt that all prospects are bleak. Nothing's going to happen. I don't know what am I going to do. How am I going to survive this country? Because I came here to make a life for myself. And then I did not lose hope though. I randomly just one day, this happened in the beginning of June. I sent the Nixwear people, the HR who I had a conversation with earlier, I sent her a text on LinkedIn that, hi, how are you? How's everything happening? And I just thought I'll catch up with you. Just a very random, very normal, friendly text. And she responded saying that the position we talked about isn't available, but we do have something new. Would you be interested? I said, why not? That was a lower paying job. It was a less intense job. It was a more entry level job. I said, why not? I worked in that position for 2 months, after which I got promoted to the actual position that we had talked about on that day. So it's basically you have to keep an open mind. You have to keep
Yes.
in touch with people. You have
So
to,
I just
it
want to
may
know,
sound desperate, but yeah.
I want to know,
Yeah, please go ahead.
the students in their final year or the final semester, they have to do this visits to their institution to talk about their thesis and everything. In that case, how did you manage all these things?
Our teachers have been wonderful. Our teachers kept in touch with us throughout. We were free to email them. We were free to have online sessions with them whenever we wanted any help. They have always been very supportive. They've always been very supportive even when we were in school. They let us come to them after hours, before hours, to talk about any kind of issues we were facing with academics, with our jobs or anything. Even after all of this happened, our teachers always kept a very open mind, and we were free to go talk to them. I'm Vinny, I'm having issues with this. How do I go about this? One of our teachers, actually, she used to let us come to her with our resumes and jobs and everything. So everybody has been very helpful and very supportive throughout.
That's great. David, all these limitations, we are talking about doing remote learning. We know that there is a Zoom fatigue, we call it. There are some other limitations in terms of remote learning, like some internet connectivity or other resources that you can't use sitting at your home. So in that case, what do you think? What could be a better solution in terms of that, and how things went from better to worse during this pandemic?
So now that everything is delivered on an online basis, you have to be very honest on how you are going through the experience, right? So for example, if you are feeling overwhelmed with the academic load that you are going through right now, you need to talk to your professors about it. Yeah. Again, if you're feeling that you are getting impacted negatively and that you are struggling to go through your days, you need to talk about it. So here's the thing, that the resources are out there at the institution, but the student needs to go reach out and ask to use them. You are paying, when you come to Canada as an international student, you're paying between $17,000 and $20,000 a year for your course, for your program. Yeah, that's a lot of money. So that you have to make sure that you use all the resources that are available. So if you feel that something is off, talk to your professor, ask for an extension, have an honest conversation with them, because you don't know also if the professor, what is the reality that they are going through as well. Because it's not only the student, the professor is also at home. You don't know if their spouse got laid off. You don't know if they are homeschooling their kids for the very first time. You don't know what other challenges they are dealing with themselves. So maybe having that conversation, everybody will be able to be in the same page to find solutions. Unfortunately, right now, it's the only way, right? Online learning is the only way, the Zoom thing. So now there's something that the institutions are giving prospective international students who are not able to come here right now, but who have been accepted in their programs. They are giving them the chance to complete the coursework from back home. At first, it sounds like a very good idea, but again, you're paying the same money to study from back home.
But I think that they at least getting a foreign degree in that case.
Yeah, but and they are going to be given the postgraduate work permit. Perfect. Yeah, but you are not able to experience the culture. You're not able to immerse in the culture here. So you want to think about that thoroughly. You want to make really sound decisions. If you really want to take that route, or maybe you want to wait a little bit until things stabilize a little bit more. It's up to each individual, right? But if you're already here and if you're going through that situation, you have to make the most of it. That's why you need a strong support system around you, your friends. Now, for example, when you are in those classes, I encourage every student to turn their cameras on, because that's preparation for the new reality that we are experiencing in the world of work. Yeah.
Yes.
All interviews going on, all networking approaches are happening online through the camera, and you need to be comfortable speaking in front of the camera. And what I see a lot is that I took, for example, myself in the summer, I took a Mandarin class at school online, right? Nobody turned on the camera. Not even the professor turned on the camera. And it was like a very challenging experience for me, because.
So why do you think that it can help to prepare yourself? So how do you think that this opening up the camera and doing the class is helpful?
Because it will help you feel comfortable being in front of the camera. So if you have an interview coming up, or if you have an informational interview that you manage to arrange with someone who works in the industry of your interest, you will feel comfortable talking with that person like this, like we're doing right now. If you always have your camera off and they call you for an interview in 3 days or so, and you never done it, you never taste it, you never taste the sound, if you never spoken in front of it, it's going to be maybe a shock. So also, because you want to make sure that you know who are the people in that classroom, because it's very important that you, now more than ever, that you connect with the people who are sitting and taking that same course, because together you can come up maybe with projects. If your internship got canceled, okay, so you have to create your own internship, right? How do you do that? Maybe developing a project with some of the other students who are in the class. Do not limit yourself. For example, again, like for example, if you're from India, do not limit yourself to interact only with students from India. Interact with students from other countries, because now with this new reality, we see that there are possibilities to start a project, or if that could turn into a business that could be managed remotely, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, right? So you have to get comfortable now. Sorry, one more thing. For other students, this has been the best thing that has ever happened, especially in students who are more on the introvert side, right? Because they have now the chance to learn from the comfort of their home, to voice their questions, their opinions without having people around them, people who maybe experience social anxiety. They don't have to have 30 people around them, and they have a question they don't feel confident to ask because there's so many eyes on them. Now they have a chat where they can voice their question. And I've seen, for example, we've seen in the webinars that we've been doing that students who were very shy at first, right? Now they are asking the question, and they're even unmuting themselves and asking their questions in front of 30, 40 people, right? So they're building that confidence because they have become comfortable with this.
Exactly.
But
Let's ask Urvish.
We need to provide the safe spaces, right?
Yeah, let's ask Urvish how much the confidence he gained from learning remotely.
He already has a lot of confidence.
She's correct, right? I'm like really confident person because I was not in beginning, but like the day I came here, I was so introvert before back home. But the day I came here, I only had one thought, like I need to be succeed in my life, my school, my career. So I tried, extend my boundaries. I try to talk with the different people. Even me and Gursheen, we just met on
Randomly talking on
random, just talking on
the
some.
sofa
So,
corners.
and I created, I made like lots of friends, and the day by day, like once you come, you start talking with people, day by day you will gain little confidence. And then I got a chance to work with a career center. Over there I need to do lots of presentations, and then I run for the election, so for student associations. So over there I still remember I talked.
So, Urvish, tell me, what sort of questions did you ask during this remote learning? And do you think asking them personally, you get better answer, or you get the perfect answers during this remote learning? What do you think?
Like, are you talking about
If you talk to your instructor, your teacher, face to
Hmm.
face, asking them the questions,
Hmm.
is it a better thing, or the remote learning for you went well in terms of asking questions and getting the answers?
110% asking a question face to face is a better thing, because even like whenever you are in school and you see the professor in the lobby, so you can just ask them like, sir, do you have a minute, can I talk, I just have one doubt, right? So currently if you have any doubt, you are sending them email, and then they reply like after some time. And for like our programming, like for programming, uh, if you are sending any email like your code to the professor to solve your error, so you need to wait for like a few time, and that time like your mind is going like boom, because you have like another task to do as well for the same project, right? So
Yes.
I think face to face, like I like face to face
Yeah,
learning.
it's always a better way to ask questions directly, personally. Gursheen, I wanted to know about your study. Like during all this pandemic, you were just finishing up your studies, your course, and
Mhm.
you were also searching for jobs. So, in that case, what do you think? What sort of strategies do you suggest during this, like using the internet, using the other resources that institution provide? How do you suggest, how can a student who is still learning remotely can get those?
First suggestion is definitely, we didn't make a lot of use of it. We didn't get a chance to, but you do. So definitely go to the library commons, contact the you can contact the librarian through the common page, contact the librarian, tell them what you're looking for, the kind of courses you're doing and how much help you might need. They're always there to help you out. They've been wonderful throughout our course. Talk to your professors as well. If you're facing any issues, don't wait till there's a mountain of issues to contact your professors. Talk to them with like, you might feel that, you're being annoying, but even they will be more annoyed if you go to them with 10 questions rather than if you ask them questions one by one, because that will help them understand where you stand as well. And there have been times when teachers help you get a job as well because they know where your strengths lie. My strategy
Yes.
has always been and always will be to keep asking questions. Keep asking questions, keep letting people know what you're looking for. Tell your friends, tell your acquaintances, let them know that, hi, I'm looking for this kind of a job. If you hear anything, if you know about any openings, let me know. So you have to be vocal about what you want everywhere.
So
And
don't you
you
think
find people.
that in a physical classroom, a teacher can work more closely with the student rather than online
No,
session?
that's absolutely true that you do. I mean, you do get to know a person better if you meet them physically, if you meet them in person. But the situation that we are in, we have to adapt ourselves to that situation.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
if you're adapting yourself to that situation, the one thing that you should be focused on is being vocal about what you need. Because you're spending your money, you're spending your time, you have all these resources that you can utilize. So why not? Even if somebody gets annoyed by you asking questions, that's not your problem, that's them problem. You
And
have
Yes.
a
also, you
right.
know what? Sorry for interrupting. I think every person is a different universe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Every student and every professor as well. So you were saying,
true.
okay, maybe it's easier to build a relationship face to face, but maybe the student, when he's there, is feels more intimidated to
Intimidated,
build that
yeah.
relationship, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
for some students, it works way better to do online. Or for example, imagine if you have class in the winter and it's minus 20 degrees, and your class on Monday at 9 in the morning, and you go to class and the TTC breaks down and
I've
you're
been
there
there.
all anxious and all agitated, right? You're not gonna be in the same mood for it, but some more as opposed to now. I just want people to see the good things about the online learning
Yeah,
so that they
yeah.
make the most of the experience, right? So imagine it's minus 20 degrees outside. It doesn't matter because you're at home. And 5 minutes before the class, you log in and you're from the comfort of your home and you're ready to get in the mood for learning. There's another tool that I wanted to add.
Yeah,
Now
sure.
that Gursheen mentioned the library, every college and university in Canada, they give you access to LinkedIn Learning, right? As a
Yeah,
learning platform. Use that because you can now. So when you go to school, all the content is in post. You pay and all the classes are in post except your electives. But even the electives, they just give you some options for you to choose from. As opposed to LinkedIn Learning, you can, take the initiative and learn and upgrade yourself in any area that you want of your interest that you feel that is going to make you more competitive. Yeah, you go there and you pay, and if you don't, and if you're not school, you need to pay a LinkedIn Premium account, which is I
Yes.
think between $25 and $30 a month.
a month.
Now you don't get it for free because it's part of your tuition, so
Yeah.
you might as well use it and start upgrading yourself. And it's great because you take those certificates as you go,
Yes.
and it's breaking down in short segments, etc. And there's an array of possibilities for you to upgrade themselves. And
And
again,
my next question is just related to those courses. First of all, I wanted to know, David, what is the value, like if you are doing an online learning or you have enrolled yourself in a hybrid course, like you can go to the classroom as well. So, what is you think the value of both the options? If you are doing online or you're doing in class, do you think both students can perform equally?
I think so, and maybe in the future, the institution will have to provide hybrid options as well, right? Because again, like, how many people are going to be comfortable after all this paranoia and pandemia to go and sit down in a class with 30 other people, right? So maybe the institution will have to offer hybrid options where they have an option for some students to go in a class physically and some other students like to do the learning on an online basis. Like, okay, so I think the institution will have to ask around a lot the students what are their preferences, what, they will have to have a lot of meetings and see what they come up with. But I think, again, like, I think all sorts of learning have their value. But again, it's how the student is going to make the most of this. And again, for example, if you go to an interview and they ask you, what do you do during this pandemic, or how did you manage stress during this pandemic, or how you made sure that you were upgrading yourself? And if you don't have an answer, if you say nothing, right? But as opposed to that, you say, you know what, I took initiative and I took the bulls behind, by the horns, and I started, for example, say that is someone who is studying computer programming, and I saw that I was not proficient in Python or in C++ or something. And I took the initiative to develop myself by taking courses on LinkedIn Learning, learn more, strengthen my ability, and develop projects on my own that I could apply that skill. And I feel now, going from feeling 5, now I feel like 8, 9, or 10. With basic training, I will be able to thrive in your organization.
Yeah, it's true. It's
Exactly.
very true, because this pandemic made everyone a student. Like I know so many people who've been studying from the online courses platforms like Coursera and everything. So it made everyone a student globally.
And
So
it's a reality. It's a reality. I think all the
yeah.
institutions will have to incorporate this to some extent, because it's a reality that we are experiencing right now.
So Urvish, tell me, like learning from online material, like in terms of computer program, it's very easy to just go to an online portal, study there, apply those codes in your laptop. It's very easy, but sometimes there are some errors, or there are some any help you need in that case. So what do you think in that case, the resources provided by these institutions,
So,
they can help?
like when you are doing any online courses on LinkedIn Learning or Udemy or Coursera, you can always ask the person who created that course, right? You can always ask whenever you are stuck. You can just post your question to their Q&A, and somebody will answer you. And if doesn't, then the person, the instructor himself, they answer the question. Plus, we do have lots of websites like Stack Overflow. So whenever I have any error, I'll just post it on Stack Overflow, and we have a whole community of programmers. So anyone can solve our issues, and people are like so much friendly in programming community now, because everybody knows, like everybody is learning every day. So if they help us, then somebody else will also help them.
So, Urvish, tell me, in your circle, your friends, your peers, what they have there in their mind, like if they have been given an option, like you can do it online or hybrid, or you can go to class. So, how comfortable are they? Like, I know you that you are comfortable doing online and everything. How comfortable are your colleagues, your peers, your friends?
Again, it's depend on like each and every person's perspective, right? Glass is half empty, and glass is full with air and half water, right? So it's depend on the perspective. So for me, like my friends are pretty comfortable with online learning, um, because we all are IT people, and
Yeah.
we love to just sit in front of the laptop. Yeah, before that, when we didn't have the resources, at that time it was quite challenging, but college handled it really well. Like they provide us everything, right? Even they provide us internet connection, like a portable internet connection, MiFi as well. So yeah, everybody's
So,
comfortable.
so Gursheen, we are just coming to the conclusion, and I want you to tell all our viewers what sort of tips you think an international student who is already studying here, how can they get the benefits, how can get the resources, any tips, any strategies they can follow?
First of all, as I said, be vocal about what you want. That is the most important. You've left your country, you're spending so much money. Be vocal, tell people what you want. They will be able to help you with that. Secondly, make use of research all the resources that are provided to you and make use of every single one. It took me a long time to actually realize a lot of resources that we had, and I don't think I still was able to make use of a lot of them, because I didn't realize those things for a very long time. So make research about things, be prepared, make your own strategy about what you're going to do, find your work life balance. That is one of the most difficult things. When you come here, find a place, be stable, live with whoever you live with, wherever you live, find some stability there, because if you don't have a house, you don't have peace of mind. You'll
Yes.
always be stressed. So find a home to live, stay there, sign a lease, 1 year, 2 year, as long as you're studying, sign a lease for that time. Be there, find out the easiest travel methods, make your life easier before you even arrive, and find ways and tips and tricks to make life as easy for you as possible, because nobody else will do that for you. So
Right.
for me, it's all about being out there, asking for what you want, taking what you want, and just being very open-minded about things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Urvish, what do you think? What are your suggestions? What have you gone through, and what are your experience? The outcomes of your experience. What do you suggest?
Mhm. I would say just one thing. As an international student, we always focus on getting like on work, like part-time work. But in this time, we forget one thing. We are here in Canada to do a study, to build a career, and uh, because of we are doing all the stuff over here by ourselves, we always forgot like really important thing of life, right? About future planning. So I would say just uh, focus on your career, create a proper network, and find a good mentor like David. Like I have David is my really good mentor, right? So find a good mentor, and yeah, that's it.
So, David, Gursheen, you want to add something?
Sorry, yes, I'd like to add one tiny little thing. Be prepared about your internship. Don't look for an internship at the last moment like me.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah,
Be
yeah.
very, very prepared. Start looking from day one, because it takes a long time to
Strategically.
find a good internship.
Yes.
Always be like, I
That's a great
luckily
tip.
found
Yeah.
a decent internship, but yeah, be prepared. Find it at the earliest, because otherwise all the good internships will be gone.
So, Urvish, you want to add something?
Yes. So just Canadian culture is totally depend on references. Like over here, people in interview, people didn't ask first like what you can do. They ask first like, do I know you, right? So just be in mind when you are studying, you have like 2 years of time to create your own network. So
Right.
that's about the future.
Yes, networking is the most important thing here in Canada. So, to sum up, I would ask David, how can an international student who is already in Canada studying or just going to finish their courses, or some international students are planning to come to Canada at this situation, what sort of benefits, what sort of resources they can get beforehand so that they can get the internships, their courses on time and everything?
So I'm gonna summarize everything in one word: strategy. You want to be strategic, right? What Gursheen just mentioned, right? Do not leave your internship for the last minute. It has to be a thought out decision, because that's gonna be the climax of your program. I made the same mistake 12 years ago when I did my first program here in Canada, right? I just found left it for the last minute, and it was not the experience that I needed, right? Strategy, right? Make connections. For example, now when I mentioned about the program coordinator, ask that program coordinator to connect you with alumni. Because, for example, if I was a student from the fashion management program, I would love to be connected with someone like Gursheen, who now knows how to navigate the system, who found a job, etc. So she can add a lot of value to me as a prospective student, right? So that, and be confident, embrace your journey, your background, build a strong support system around you that you can count on. And like Gursheen said, use all the resources. Think of it as you are part of a corporation and you are the customer. And because you're a customer, you have the right to demand incredible service, right? That can help you navigate the current situation that we are going through.
And how can orbit5.ca can help those international students?
We can help you by having deep conversations with you that will help you think critically about the decisions that you want to make regarding your school and your career endeavors. We can help you by engaging you with professionals and experts in different fields that can give you insights and great actionable tips for you to become more confident when you start your job search processes. And we can support you on a one-on-one basis to have, again, deep conversations to help you meet the goals that you have set for yourself.
Thank you so much, David Mendoza. Thank you so much, Gursheen, Kaur. Thank you so much, Urvish Patel, for the amazing tips and strategies that you have suggested to all those international students who are still in Canada or planning to come to Canada for their international study. And hopefully this Café New Canadian session would definitely help you in preparing coming to Canada or anything that you have faced during pandemic, and you want any suggestion on anything related to your studies, you can always go to your program coordinator, always go to your institution who can help you in those regards. So hopefully it would help you in pursuing your education as well as your career ahead. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. The resources that David Mendoza and other participants mentioned, I would say orbit5.ca is a good platform to, if you have some questions related to your study, your career, you can log on to this website. Also, you can follow the weekly newsletter, weekly webinars of orbit5.ca. And for Café New Canadians, Café New Canadians always there for newcomers, new Canadians who are coming to Canada or already come to Canada. You can follow us across all social media platforms, our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can follow us and you can also go to our YouTube page. You can see all the previous webinars, previous sessions, and in the future, you can also get some amazing tips and techniques to maneuver your career in Canada. And also you can subscribe our newsletter, New Canadians newsletter. And thank you so much for all those who joined us through Zoom. And do let us know your experience. And also for all those who joined us through YouTube. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.